Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurun Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavansya. Mukam karoti vachalam Phangam langaite giram Yat Krupatamaham Vande Sri Gurun Dhinatarinam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Today we are going to discuss the summary of chapter 14 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the three modes of material nature. So in chapter 13 we have discussed how the person can be freed from material entanglement by humbly developing the knowledge. Each person on this earth is entangled. So, in chapter 13, the process of developing the knowledge in a very humble way and how he can be freed is explained. And it is also explained there in chapter 13 that it is due to the association of modes of material nature that the person is entangled. So, in this chapter 14, Krishna explains what are those material nature and what it consists of and how it acts, how it binds and how they actually give liberation to the living entity. Prabhupada very nicely explains in all the purports the concepts of coming out of the entanglement and getting situated to a higher level from where we can realize and go back to Godhead. So in the beginning of this chapter, Krishna says the importance of this chapter by informing Arjuna that, you see Arjuna, I am going to give you superior knowledge superior to that so far I have spoken. So listen this carefully. By understanding this, great sages attained perfection and they have transferred themselves to the spiritual worlds. And Krishna further explains that by becoming fixed in this knowledge, he will acquire the transcendental knowledge qualitatively equal with Krishna. So, and not only that, he will be freed from the birth-death cycle. So, in these first two slokas, Krishna explains the importance of the whole chapter and makes anybody, whoever is reading, to get more enthusiastic and he will be more interested to know what actually is given in this. So, Krishna very nicely explains one by one, step by step, the concepts of the material existence and the material bondages and the three modes and how a person should come out and what will happen when actually he is coming out and how to achieve it. So, you all kindly comprehend this chapter 14 carefully. In the third and fourth slokas, the basic concept of Brahma is explained. So, many times there will be question in our mind, how these 84 lakh species have come into existence and how they have taken birth. all this. So, in 14.3 and 4, Krishna very nicely explains this. So, if we imagine a field, just imagine a field, paddy field or wheat field, the field is there, and when we actually sow the seeds, say wheat seeds, if we are sowing, after some time with the help of water, earth and the sun, we see the plants coming up and ultimately they give wheat. So, the plants come up after the seeds are impregnated in the earth. In the same manner, Krishna explains, there is a kshetra, there is a field in this cosmic world which consists of 24 elements. This we have seen in chapter 13, text number 6 and 7. The 24 elements make the whole cosmic manifestation. Cosmic world is created with the help of these 24 elements. I will just again repeat what has been told in 13.6 and 13.7, because that is important here, based on which Krishna is explaining the existence of 84 lakh different species. 13.6 and 7 we have seen Mahabhuta, Nihankaro, Buddhira, Vyaktamevacha, etc. There are 24 elements. The 5 elements which are called Mahabhuta, earth, water, fire, air and ether, the 5. Then 5 sense acquiring things, that is eyes, ears, tongue, nose and skin, 5. And then 5 working senses, the voice, legs, hands, anus and genital. And there are 5 sense objects, smell, taste, form, touch and sound. So, 5 into 4, 20. Then we have the mind, man, buddhi, ahankar, mind, intelligence and false ego, 20 plus 3, 23. And the 4th one, the unmanifested modes of material nature. All that together it becomes 24. These 24 elements form the field, just like our field here, the earth field on the earth, wheat field or paddy field as I explained before. This field in the cosmic world consists of these 24 elements. And now Krishna says, I impregnate the jivas, I impregnate the living entities in this, and the living entities take birth. So, the field, we sow the seeds, here the cosmic field, Krishna is sowing the seeds of the living entities, all the 84 different types of species and all the living entities. Krishna is giving the seeds, and with the help of these 24 elements, the birth of all these 84 lakh species take place, a variety of them. So, Krishna explains that he is the seed giving father, the original seed giving father. And then Krishna explains how the material conditioning takes place on these jivas in 14.5. Now, just you see, suppose by chance we put colored water in the field, slowly the color will try to come out, and sometimes the leaves also will get the same color of what water actually we are putting. That means the plants get conditioned by the supply of the environmental things from which it is actually taking, from which it is getting manifested. Similarly, the jivas, the moment they take birth, they get conditioned by the 3 modes of material nature. Another way of looking at it is, suppose you are entering an AC room, air conditioned room in a hot sun, hot weather, summer, outside it is very hot, you are entering a cold AC room, and you have your pen, you have your bag. When you enter inside the room, these bag, pen and the body, they get cooled without even asking, without your permission, they automatically get cooled. When you touch your pen, it will be very cold, because the pen is getting conditioned by the air in the room, that is air conditioning effect. Similarly, the jivas, the living entities, they get conditioned by the three modes of material nature, that is Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. Satoguna, guna is actually rope, they are actually binding. Sato is the mode of goodness, then mode of passion, mode of ignorance. These three, they condition the living entity, and because of the conditioning effect, his behavior slowly gets manifested and he acts. He starts acting, the jiva, the living entity starts acting as per the influence of the three modes of material nature. Krishna explains this, and then immediately the question arises, oh, if three modes are there, what is the effect of each mode? So Krishna explains each mode, how they actually act and what they actually result, and what is the ultimate the destiny one achieves by being situated in the particular mode. So in Krishna in 14.6 explains the mode of goodness gives illumination and free from the sinful reactions. This mode of goodness makes one to be free from the sinful reactions. So the person, whoever is acting in this condition of goodness, when he is conditioned by the mode of goodness, he will always be happy, and he possesses knowledge. He becomes a knowledgeable person with happiness. Prabhupada explains in the sloka 14.6 that the scientists are the best examples. Scientists, they possess such higher level knowledge, and slowly they become proud, and they get many facilities, better living, happy living comparing with other people, and they keep on working in such a way that they want to get more and more happiness and more name, fame, etc. So ultimately they are bound to that. They don't think of anything else. They don't think how the knowledge is coming within him. How is that he is getting the knowledge? That he will never think, but he is just happy that he has got more knowledge than other people, and he gets bound by that happiness. So that way the mode of goodness, even though it is illuminating and gives happiness, it binds the person, and the person will be not concentrating on the real aim, real goal of the life, but he is carried away by the happiness which he is attaining. Krishna explains further in 14.7 the effect of the passion and how passion is actually taking place, how actually it is affecting the person. When the person has unlimited desires and the longings, this binds him to the fruitive activities, because he has got so many desires. I want to get a big house, I want to have car, I want to have a bigger car, I want to have my nice family, nice wife, nice children, I want to make everyone happy, I want to enjoy those life. For achieving those material things, he works hard day and night, fruitive actions. If I am working, I am getting the result. I am getting result, so I have to work. I have these desires, these have to be completed, so I have to work and get the result. So he is totally involved in working and trying to get the result, and that way he works hard and ultimately that's all. He is bound in that type of life. That is the effect of the passion. That passion makes the person bound to the fruitive activities. Goodness binds the person to the happiness, whereas this binds him to the working fruitive activities, working and working and working. Krishna further explains the effect of the ignorance in 14.8. Ignorance makes the person to have the darkness, and which results in madness. Madness, indolence is lazy, always lazy. It doesn't want to work at all, and sleep, enjoy in sleeping. So such people, they don't know what is right, what is wrong, and they get addicted to various types of habits like drinking, smoking, intoxicating, and all those things. And they never even think about the God. They don't know what is right to do, what is wrong to do. So such people actually will have very horrible life. Krishna further summarizes how each one binds in 14.9. The goodness binds by happiness, passion binds by the fruitive actions, and ignorance binds by the madness in the person. Now, Krishna explains not only they bind, they want to dominate. They means the mode of material nature, each one. Like if you take Satoguna wants to dominate and it wants to defeat the other two gunas. That is good for the person. But the Tamoguna, the ignorance, the mode of ignorance fights, and when he dominates, it is totally ignored. The person will be ignorant. So like that, the fight will go on within, so that one particular mode will be in action and defeats the other two modes. This process goes on. This explains why a person sometimes behaves very nicely and sometimes behaves terribly rough and bad. When mode of goodness is defeating other modes, the person behaves in a very nice way, and when mode of ignorance dominates, then he becomes cruel and mad. Then the person may get the doubt, okay, I have understood the mode, how it is acting, and the person is behaving like this, but I want to check up what are the symptoms actually we can observe. So Krishna explains in 14:11, 12 and 13 the symptoms of each mode. The mode of goodness makes all the 9 gates of the body getting illuminated by the knowledge. So all the 9 gates develop happiness. We have the 9 gates: 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, 2 into 3, 6 plus 1, 7 plus 1, 8. And then 8th one, the genital, the 9th one, the anus. So these 9 gates are present in all the jivas, and particularly in human being we are referring to. All the 9 gates will be illuminated with the knowledge, and whatever the person is seeing, he wants to see which will add to the knowledge, and he will see which actually gives him the knowledge. The person who is in mode of goodness, he will listen to that thing which adds to his knowledge and makes him happy. So like that, all the 9 gates, they will be illuminated with the happiness. And so happiness is developing in all the 9 gates. In passion, Krishna explains in 14:12 that great attachment to the fruitive activities. I am doing this, I am getting. Because I have worked hard, I got my car. Because I have worked hard, I have my very nice family. And where he is not getting, he has to put more efforts, more intensive endeavor. This intensive endeavor is the symptom of the passion, and he will have uncontrolled desire. The desires, one by one, there is no control over them, and he keeps on hankering. Prabhupada explains such people who are in the mode of passion will never be satisfied. They are always unhappy. They work for the name, fame, earning money, and more sense gratification without understanding the basic goal and purpose of the life, without knowing that these senses are never going to be satisfied. It is foolishness to go on thinking for satisfying the senses. This idea he never gets. He thinks that sense gratification is the ultimate goal. So these symptoms we can see the unlimited desires and hankering. So such people will be subjected to continuous working, intensive working day and night, and ultimately dying with those ideas. Now, ignorance, when the person is in the mode of ignorance, the symptom is that he is filled with the darkness, inertia, and madness. So his life will be totally inactive and he is under illusion. Prabhupada explains the person in the mode of ignorant will always be behaving in his own whimsical way. He will never understand the rules and regulations to be followed. He never thinks that he should do some activity. He will be totally lazy, or he will be working as per his own whimsical methods, which he thinks this is the way everyone should work. He doesn't respect the rules. That's why he is always subjected to some kind of problem, and his life will be always in darkness. So Krishna explains these are the symptoms of the person who is actually in each mode. Now if he dies in that mode, what will happen? What actually will be the effect? The person, now as we see the sequence, Krishna explained how the living entity is taking birth and how they are getting conditioned, and when he is conditioned by a particular mode, what are his behaviors, what are the symptoms, and with those symptoms, if he continues in the same mode, if he is dying, what is the destiny? Krishna explains now. From text number 14 and 15, Krishna gives the destiny which the person attains in the particular mode. In the mode of goodness, the person attains higher planets where the sages are staying. He moves upwards, urdhvam gacchanti. So he keeps on moving, but if he doesn't do devotional service, if he is not doing devotional service, then after reaching those planets, again he will come back to the earth planet. And the person who is in the passion, if he is dying, he will take birth among the people who are working for the fruitive actions. So again he takes birth in the people in the family who are working hard for satisfying the senses and earning name, fame, etc. So again he takes birth, again he works hard, like day and night working hard and ultimately dying. The cycle keeps on going, so he always remains on this earth only. He doesn't even progress upwards. The person who is ignorant, who is in the mode of ignorance, he will take birth among the animal kingdom. So, being an animal is worse, because human being, at least at some point, he can understand the existence of God and tries to come out of the bondage. At least he can make efforts. He will have some intelligence, whereas in the as an animal there is no intelligence, and he keeps on suffering, suffering and suffering. So it continues. So everyone should be very serious. Prabhupada writes in the purport that our life is short, so we have to take the good association and try to come out, become Krishna consciousness, come out of these three modes of material nature, so that you can progress. In 1416, now the death and some of the things are indicated, the destiny. Actually, how it is going to result, Krishna explains in 1416. The person who is in the mode of goodness, he will attain purity. He will carry out pious activities. Whereas the person who is in the mode of passion, he will get only misery. All his actions ultimately give one result, that is misery, only misery, nothing else. And the person who is in the ignorance will have only the foolishness. Prabhupada, while explaining these aspects, condemns the cow slaughter and the encouragement being given by the governments, different governments, to set up the cow slaughter houses. And Prabhupada says, these cow slaughter houses development means you are encouraging the people to become ignorant. Ignorant people means they are going to create a society of mad people who will work whimsically for their own designed methods of satisfying themselves, and ultimately there will be a society of only mad people. It is suicidal. Srila Prabhupada explains so nicely, which we have to elaborately read and understand. So this ultimately how the each mode, how actually is acting, again Krishna is explaining. After telling that the mode of goodness gives the purity, how actually this purity is developing further is explained in 17 and 18. In 1417, Krishna explains the goodness develops the real knowledge. When the person gets the real knowledge that his goal is meant for satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can move forward and slowly develop, come to the pure mode of goodness. So here only through the goodness the knowledge develops, the real knowledge. The passion ultimately it develops the greed, and the ignorance, foolishness, madness and illusion. That's why 1418 Krishna again summarizes that the goodness will take the person to the upper planets, higher planets, and the passion makes the person to live on this earth, and the ignorance takes the person down to the hellish planets. So, Krishna now tries to explain that a person should try to come out of these sufferings and attain the nature of the Supreme, that is, attaining the nature of Krishna. Krishna explains in 14:19 how a person attains the spiritual nature of the Supreme. Krishna says this: when a person actually understands and properly sees that each activity is performed by the modes of material nature. The performer is one of the three modes of material nature, and the Supreme Lord is transcendental to the modes, and he is nothing to do, these modes will not affect him. Then he will attain the qualities of the Supreme nature. Here, Prabhupada clearly explains how a person can attain such a state where he gets the full knowledge that everything is performed by the modes of material nature and the Supreme Lord is above the three modes, is through the spiritual master. That's why one has to carefully surrender on to spiritual master and get the knowledge from him and follow the spiritual master, so that he is surrendered to Krishna and get relieved of these three modes of material nature which are binding the person. So, for the answer, what is meant by attaining spiritual nature of the Supreme, Krishna gives the direct answer. What is actually meant by attaining the nature of the Supreme? If somebody wants to understand, we have the clear understanding given by Krishna in 14:20. Krishna says, when the person transcends the three modes of material nature in this body itself, he becomes very, very happy. He enjoys the nectar in this life, and not only he enjoys in this life, he comes out of the birth, death cycle. He comes out of the birth, death, old age and disease. So, what else is required? The person, whoever is having little bit of intelligence, should try to understand this basic concept, that if we try to get the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we will be enjoying in this life itself the nectar. Not only that, in the next life we are out of this birth death cycle, and so the future life is also ensured for the happiness. Now, at this juncture, Arjuna has understood what are the three modes of material nature and how it is affecting, and why he should come out of the three modes, so that he is enjoying the happiness on this earth and he is ensured of no birth, death in the future. So, Arjuna gets the doubt, how the person will be behaving? Oh Krishna, can you kindly explain me how the person behaves who has transcended all the three modes? What is his behavior? What are his symptoms? And how he actually transcends? Krishna, can you kindly explain? Actually, Arjuna is asking on behalf of the whole human beings to give the knowledge to the whole human society about this. Krishna explains the symptoms and behavior of the person who has actually transcended the three modes in 4:22 to 25. These three slokas explain very clearly the behavior of the person who has transcended the modes of material nature. So Krishna says the qualities. The person who doesn't hate illumination, attachment, delusion when they are not present. When they are present, he doesn't hate them. When they are not present, he doesn't long for them. He doesn't work for getting them. He doesn't wish for them. And he will be having unwavering, undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities. He will always remain neutral, and he is transcendental to the modes, because he always knows that only modes are acting and he has nothing to do. His view, he looks at a lump of earth or a stone or a lump of gold with an equal eye. He is equally poised. He doesn't desire anything, and he doesn't do anything that when some undesirable things come. So he is equal for the results he gets, which or as the desirable thing or the undesirable thing. He is always steady, and he is equally well in case of praising or in case of anybody blaming him. Whether he gets honor or dishonor, he is equal, and he treats the friends and his enemy and the enemy equal. These are the symptoms. When a person attains and behaves like this, then he is said to have transcended the three modes of material nature. Krishna further explains that how this stage is possible. This is the most important text, 426. Manchayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate trigunan samati chaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So the thing is, he is more other than Krishna. His activities are not there. The activities are only for Krishna. So all the activities, he is fully engaged in the activities for Krishna and Krishna only, in all the circumstances. So when a person under all circumstances, if he is carrying out the devotional service on to Krishna, he at once transcends the three modes and comes to the level of Brahma. So Prabhupada explains, instead of putting the hard work, labor for the sense consciousness, if he puts his actions for the Krishna consciousness, then he slowly comes to the level of Brahma. That is, under any circumstance, he will work only for Krishna. In 4:22-25 also, Prabhupada explains that the person who has transcended the three modes of material nature carries out the activities only for Krishna. Everything for Krishna, anything for Krishna. So, such a person, he will come to the level of Brahma. Prabhupada explains, Brahma realization is the first step. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti iti sabhyate. So, the Brahma realization is the first step, the person, after attaining Brahman realization, if he continues the devotional service, then he comes to the level of Paramatma realization, the super soul, realization of the super soul. And then when he performs the devotional activities, continues the devotional activities from Paramatma realization to he attains the Bhagavan realization, the realization of the Supreme Lord. So, this is the step by step progress and the person attains. Having come to this earth, this is the only way, because every living entity, the moment he has taken birth on the earth, these three modes of material nature catch them, condition him. So, one should clearly understand by studying these patterns of the behavior and come to the level of the Brahman. Now, in the last text, Krishna explains that I am the basis of the Brahma, which is imperishable, immortal and the eternal. So, that position is the constitutional position of the ultimate happiness. If we see this whole chapter, the chapter is concentrating on the three modes of material nature, how the person is getting affected. When we read, comprehend, understand and digest it, we will be able to identify our own behavior with the behaviors explained in this. And when we are identifying that we are not situated in the mode of goodness, we are in a very bad condition, because when we are in the mode of passion or in the ignorant, our life will not progress. To make a person, to make the human society realize this, Krishna is speaking all this so that the person becomes happy. This is the way of attaining a very happy life in this world as well as in the future. So, the ultimate emphasis is to transcend, to come out of these three modes of material nature, because each one is binding and he will come back to this earth. So, Krishna has already given the indication how a person can transcend. In 7:14, Krishna has explained, Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mame Vaye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. This Maya, which is consisting of the three modes of material nature, is acting on everyone, because that is working under me directly. Krishna is saying, you can't take the Maya very easy. It is duratyaya, it is very difficult to come out. But when a person is surrendering to Krishna, Krishna says, when you are surrendering on to me, you can cross over, you can transcend very easily. So kindly, Krishna says, please surrender on to me. Krishna in 1861 explains, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rudani Mayaya. All these living entities are sitting in the yantra, the machine, and they are moving in the machine. Similarly, in the same way, I am situated in everyone's heart and I am actually making them to move. Krishna in 1862 says, you see, Tameva Sharanam Gacha Sarva Bhavena Bharata. You see, in all circumstances, take his shelter. Tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapyasi shashvatam. When you are taking shelter, my dear human being, my dear Arjuna, then you will get the peace of mind, you will get the tranquility, you will get the happiness, you will get the peace of mind. And not only that, you will get the sthanam prapyasi shashvatam, you will get the place which is eternal. And Krishna explains in 1863, iti te gnanamakyatam guhyat guhyataram maya vimrishetad asheshena yathechasi tatha kuru. You see, I have explained you all the confidential knowledge, very secret knowledge I have explained you. On this, check up yourself, discuss yourself, and come to the conclusion without any sort of doubt, vimrisheta asheshena, without anything remaining in your mind. Think over seriously, and then yathechasi tatha kuru. Whatever way you want to do it, you do it. I am giving you little bit of freedom. So Krishna gives the freedom, you can work for me, you can surrender on to me, or you can do activities as per your own wish. And I have explained you the effects of working in different modes without actually surrendering on to me. So we have to take the serious guidance, instruction given by Krishna. The ultimate instruction which Krishna had given in 1866 is Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shucha. So, abandoning all the rules and regulations, just surrender on to me. Don't worry, you will be relieved of the sinful reactions. So, why should we worry? Unless we surrender, we cannot come out of these three modes. We have to check up ourselves. We are influenced by the three modes. When we are influenced by the three modes, the effect of three modes are clearly explained. The destiny is coming back on the earth and taking birth again and again and again and again, which we have been doing for the past millions and millions and millions of times. At least now we should seriously consider, because our life is short, and unless we take actions quickly and surrender on to Krishna totally, we cannot be liberated. We cannot come out of this birth and death cycle. Hare Krishna.